Hello and welcome to Box to Board. Now, today we are going to do something that I'm actually genuinely really excited about. We're going to effectively unbox Dune RPG from Modiphius. Now, I put in my pre-order. I've got the PDF come down through. I haven't looked at this yet. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to look at it fresh on the screen together. And what you're going to see is basically my genuine response. Now, a couple of disclosures. First of all, I absolutely adore Dune. It's the book, the original book, just blew me away the first time I read it. It's an alien world. It's a different world. It's something utterly crazy and other and brilliant. And it was one of the books that enabled me to fall in love with sci-fi. Secondly, I adore the movie from the 70s or the 80s, I think it was. It was just incredible. Crazy, bit of a flawed masterpiece in some respects. The baddies were ultra bad. The goodies were good and kind of edgy. It was dark. It was rich. It was awesome. And I am a little bit nervous of the new movie coming out, but that's a different story. But I'm hopeful that it gets what it deserves, and is such a fantastic world. So no pressure on this game, but this is probably one, if not the most loved franchise that I know of in my mind. This is something I love deeply, and we shall see. Okay, so let's have a look at the game. I'm going to start and share the screen, and hopefully it's good. Now, the first impression whenever I looked at this was it is gorgeous on the front, and I've only really seen a couple of pages in the front, and I love the fact that you've kind of, the artwork's clever. I mean, this is something that really struck me. You've got a central character, and you've got round them one of the worms and making a halo. I thought that was a really cool bit of art, and I don't want you to miss that. You probably have picked it up, but it's just beautiful. Let's have a look at what it says in the back. Basically, a role-playing game takes you into a far future beyond anything you've ever imagined. The Imperium is a place of deadly duels, feudal politics, mysterious abilities where noble houses politic constantly for power, influence, and vengeance in a universe where a blade can change the fortune of millions. Something good. Build your house, carve your place in the universe, or rebuild an ancient lineage and fight for the imperial throne. And there's other bits and pieces, and so you can inhabit. Oh, there's some good references here already. Everything you need to create your own stories of intrigue and adventure on the sands of Arrakis as agents of a powerful noble house. A brand new version of the 2D20 system, which I really like. I think it's a good wee system, and I quite enjoy using it. Extensive look at the Imperium. That'll be cool. Guidelines for novice and experienced GMs. I've always have a look at that. I always think, let's have a proper look and see how that is, because that tells you a lot about the depth of a game. But we'll see. And it's dedicated to Frank Herbert, whose singular vision and imagination have inspired us all. I think that's true. If you're in a sci-fi and you've not read Dune, don't watch the rest of this. Stop the video. Go read the book Dune. It'll take you a while. You won't regret it. You might get completely confused by it, but let it wash over you, and you'll remain. Yeah. So here we go. So contents. We've got an introduction. We've got the known universe. We've got creating your house. Oh, nice. Creating your character. Core rules, conflict, assets, game, GMing. Decent sized for that. Bit about allies and adversaries, Harvesters of Dune, and appendix. So let's have a look. Artwork is looking pretty good actually so far. I'm quite impressed with that. Get some nice little quotes and bits. Oh, I actually feel very excited. We begin in the year 10,191 of the imperial calendar. they've already told you this is way in the future, which is kind of cool. And it's got a nice bit. That's really quite a nice page, actually. So if you already, that's nice. Where do I start? If you don't know much, if you already know the D20 system, so if you've played Star Trek Adventures, which I have quite extensively, it comes in. Now those are nice looking dice. Sorry, I have to say that. It's a core rulebook overview, and it tells you what each bit does. I like this because it's nice having the bit at the beginning, but actually this kind of tells me where I need to go. That's kind of cool. I'm liking that. What is Dune? What is a role-playing game? We utilize 2 levels of play to allow players to work as powers that be behind the scenes and as agents in direct mission. That's interesting. Architect level play involves characters using their assets from a distance to achieve an objective. This might be as a general moving their troops or spy master. Activating agents. In agent level play, you actually get their hands dirty and perform the missions themselves. Be interested to see how they do this. Any character might use either style of play to perform missions. Your group may have a preference for one or the other. Which level you use will often be determined by the assets you have available, the way players decide to face a situation rather than an adventure or the GM. Be interested to see how that works out and how they do that. Then they've got the Universe of Dune, which is fascinating, and it goes into a whole thing about the history of how this has come about, who the different players are, the eras of play. Oh, so you can play. Tell me you can play in different bits. Wow, okay, that's really nice. Each offers different opportunities for your player character in your campaign. That's kind of cool. I'm liking this. So I can do different stages in the history of Dune. That's kind of cool. Really, really do like this. And this, yeah, that's kind of cool. I like that. And then the best way is to play one. However, there's also many actual play videos online we can watch. Don't think there's many there yet, but we will. Don't worry, we're getting on to that. Then there's a little bit of blurb about it. The artwork is really impressing me at the minute. That is so. I mean, it's kind of cool and it's kind of different. So we've got. Is this? Sorry, I'm going to go back. So this is History of Humanity, and it tells you, what you need to know about this, what happened, the different at different points, the Butlerian jihad, fall of thinking machines. Oh, this is cool. That is cool. The Imperium today tells you a bit about it. Then you get your timeline. Before Guild, after Guild, interesting. Overview of the Imperium. Then we get a bit about what's going on, what the different factions are, and the fact who the key players. Good bit about that. Then life within the Imperium. Technology, what technology's like, great schools. Oh, this is cool. Faith and religion. Because it's a feature in this game. Then the Landsraad. Oh, I mean, look at some of that. It's gorgeous. The houses. This is the houses of the Imperium. So you've got Carino, Harkonnen, Atreides. And then you've got a little bit about the Chum. Oh, I really do like this. Space and Guild. There's a good bit about that. This is a gorgeous book. I mean, it's going to be a gorgeous book. Where's that? That's Mentats. Oh, I love this. I really love Mentats. They're kind of one of my favorite things in sci-fi. Um, and if I was playing this as a player, would be a Mentat. And then you get the Ben Gesserits. I think that's going to be Ben Gesserits. Yeah. Oh, they are so grey to me. Yeah, they're cool. And then that famous quote, "I must not fear, fear is the mind killer." Then we get the Sook Medical School, the Ben Tlilax, I can never say that word, the Sword Masters. And then we get a bit about planets. So we get a bit about, I mean, in terms of describing this universe, I think it's hitting all the right buttons, isn't it? The way it's drawn up, the artwork, the layout, the typeset, even it all works well together. And you've got, like, let's pick out somewhere that isn't Arrakis for a minute. So Wallach 9 tells you a lot about the planet, a lot about what it's like, which is quite nice. Then creating your house. So it's vital to determine a few details about the style, agenda, and attributes of the house they serve. So basically you create your own house. That's kind of cool. I like that. Because and you get different levels of houses. Oh, so if you pick out a great house, yes, you're going to be more power, but the GM's going to be able to mess you around a lot more because you get threat. Nice. Then there's a bit about domains and expertise. I'm really interested to see how that. I mean, this is a flick through. This is first impression, but as I look at this, I'm just going, these look kind of cool. You know, this house business is interesting to me. A lot of games have tried to do stuff like this, and not really pulled off the two levels of play. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. You pick out their enemies. That's kind of cool. And then generating your character, creating your character. Who are you? I'm assuming this is going to be who your character serves. Gosh, there's a lot of stuff here. So there's an in-planned character creation. So they give you effectively different archetypes and templates. Ben Gesserit, Fremen, Mentat, Space and Guild Agent, Sook Doctor. Then you pick out the archetype. Too good. There's some really interesting stuff here. There's some really, really interesting stuff. Yeah, it looks nicely crunchy as a game. It's the kind of game that you're going to spend a lot of time getting into, and there's going to be a lot of play. It'll suit campaign play. And you can do creation and play. That's interesting. Then how to character advance, which isn't a massive amount there, but it tells you in one place, so it's quite nice. The art, I have to say, the artwork is really gorgeous. Then these are rules and how they work. So we will go through some of this stuff in a future video, I suspect. Well, I know we will. But it looks pretty comprehensive. You've got momentum, which if you played 2D20, this will look familiar. Complications will look familiar. Success at cost will look familiar. Threat will look familiar. So determination is familiar. This is looking like a familiar. This is familiar to me. Extended tasks, again. Conflict, I suspect, is going to be similar to what we've had before. The difference is there shouldn't be an awful lot of it's going to be a lot of stuff on ground as such, it's that kind of universe. Espionage, warfare. Yeah, this is looking, intrigue will be interesting because it's a big feature of the universe is the levels of intrigue. And then assets. That's kind of cool. The listing assets. Because technology is a weird thing in the world of Dune. It's not what you normally would. It's odd. It's not where you would expect things to be. It's so far removed from our world, which is what makes it really interesting. In many respects. God, there's loads of stuff in this, isn't there? And all the way through, there's this little droplets of gorgeous bits of artwork. I mean, look at that picture. It just tells you everything you need to know in a lot of ways about how it's in the intrigue and the idea of, and that's gorgeous. It's just a good looking book. What's the GM doing in this bit? I'm gonna look at a wee bit. I'm going to slow down just a little bit because I always end up GMing these, and I think it tells you a lot. So it's not to make everyone to, this is quite interesting. What their job is, what their job isn't. Some tips. That's cool. Short games versus long-term campaigns. I like that. I like the fact that they're actually giving you a. Oh, that's really nice. So they're saying things like, okay, so a one shot, what could you do? A 3-chapter arc, what could you do? A 9-chapter arc, what could you do? Nice, telling about what published campaigns are and how to use them. That's really nice because a lot of time it's like, oh yeah, here's a published campaign, but we don't actually tell you much about it. How to create your own campaign. You often get that, but actually I like the bit, and it's something they do in Star Trek Adventures as well, where they've got these rule hooks, which is nice. How to set up a game, and a bit about setting up online, which has become more and more a feature. Looking for group sections, and LFG. This is good. I'm liking that, because actually, I think this is a really good actually GM and section, from what I can say, and I haven't gone through it in great depth and detail, but it looks like a good, well-written one, and that tells me a lot about how the rest of the game will play. Because a good GM makes a good gaming session. I think that's really nice. It's really good because, not being funny, but a lot of games forget the GM's the person who normally buys the stuff. They're going to be the first port of call, and if people will eventually buy it, but if the GM does their job right, your players are going to buy that. So if you serve them well, you're going to serve your company well, because the book's going to sell well, and especially now we're in this, in the online world, people are more aware of what's going on and writing reviews and doing stuff like this. Non-player characters, NPCs, and there's a bit there. You can see. Hang on, got to zoom out of that. That's awesome. Sorry, that's just gorgeous. Then you get, oh, I'm not even, oh, that's, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's just too good. Yes, this is going to be good. You know, they're picking out characters that people will know they're brilliant, and then how to create NPCs. And again, they're going right, make them believable. You know, they're actually sitting down and saying, okay, um, just good advice all the way through. Whoever's written this, they've actually sat down and thought about how they can um, support GMs, which is really darn decent and good, and it works really well. So many. This is cool. You know, just look at this, going, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Lovely, lovely, lovely thing. Yeah, I'm impressed with this. I'm very impressed with this. Um, oh, and then houses as NPCs in effect. That's cool. And then you've got harvesters, which is, I suspect, this is the introduction session or campaign, if you like. It's not really a campaign. You know what? I think that's a very successful book, and I'll be really interested to see how those appendix. I like this whenever they do this now, that you can actually have these sheets that just give you a good, clear idea what's going on. I'm very impressed with that. I'm genuinely very impressed with that. Yeah, I think that's brilliant. I think that's absolutely brilliant. Gonna just go back to screen for a minute. I am so impressed with that. The artwork's really nice. It fits, you know, what it should fit. I like the GM sections. I think are superb. It's been a while since I've seen stuff done quite as carefully as that. But it's becoming a feature quite a few books now. Over the last couple of months, I've noticed that companies are twigging onto this, that this is a really important aspect of your marketing. Actually, is that you make it accessible for your GMs. If you give them and help them out, as more people get into the hobby, it's really important. So it's not just a bundle of old lags and people floundering. Yeah, I'm super excited, and I'm really looking forward to the actual book itself. That's gorgeous. That's a gorgeous piece of work. Well done. And I think it's got enough originality, not just to feel like this is one of the challenges Dune. It's been so influential in terms of sci-fi that you could almost feel like everything felt it felt a bit like a knockoff of the things that are actually influenced by it, but they haven't that isn't the feel here. I would say that this is very much a game that is picking up on some of the unique elements of Dune, and by going at that extra level, I think that's I'll have to go through it and really get my head around it, but by going up to the house level almost and working at two levels of the game, I think they actually do something clever there, because that level of political intrigue is very much central to this universe and is something that Dune brings and is kind of a unique flavor, is the best, I want to say spice, but is that bit that gives it that flavor that the other games, the other universes don't really have to the same extent. And actually, I think that's clever to put that in. So having that level, that extra level that you can play at, is going to really appeal to some players, and some players are just going to avoid it. You know, some players go, not bothered. I just want to have my Mentat. I just want to have my my Fremen, you know, and I'm happy with that. But if but I can see why a lot of people really like it. Oh yeah, I can see exactly why that, and I know some players that will really appeal to. I'm very impressed, and yeah, can't wait to get it on the table. Can't wait to get the book. And actually, now I'm looking at it, I'm thinking I've got to get some of those dice because those were gorgeous as well. It's really, really good. Okay, have a lovely evening. Thank you for watching, and come on, June. This could be its year. Bye bye.